Welcome back everyone to another day trading recap video. Somehow today I really just managed to trip over myself again and again and again, and a few times today I even sold right at the perfect low right before a nice little run up. I'm coming out with this recap video a little bit later because I was kind of thinking to myself, yeah, I've been way too focused on the 1 minute, and I've made several videos about this lately where I'm just, getting tunnel vision, focusing on the 1 minute, and, really there's perfect 5-minute setups, but I'm always a little bit too soon or a little bit too late because I'm focusing on that 1 minute and I'm not giving myself a little bit more breathing room and letting the patterns play out. And that's been my problem lately. So today I made a little bit of a change here, and I kept my overall charts the same. I have my main chart right here, but what I did as well is I always have a second trading screen, and usually my second trading screen is on the 1 minute chart. And today, I don't know why it took me so long to come up with this idea, but I just changed my whole entire second screen where it shows four charts, so a lot of the tickers we were trading today, and I just changed them to the 5 minute. You can see up here 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute, and they were before in the 1 minute. And I'm thinking this will probably help me kind of relax a little bit, kind of take a step back. You can also see I traded a lot longer today, and a big reason for that is just because I was kind of playing around with my charts a little bit, thinking, how do I want to go forward a little bit, because man, I've just been way too tunnel visioned lately, and it's a mistake that I keep making. So clearly I need to change something more fundamentally to try to help me overcome this. So hopefully that's what this change will allow me to do. Actually, I'll put it back here for a second. So these charts I'm using, I got the 180-day simple moving average here, I got VWAP is purple, and I got the 9 EMA, that's the blue. So really, really simple statistics. I never like cluttering my charts too much, and obviously the red is drawn support and resistance zones based on the daily or weekly. But that's it. I like to keep my charts really, really clean. And even this is like borderline already a little bit too much. Price action in the end is key, but what I look for on the 5 minute, especially if I'm trying to accumulate a little bit late day or look for an overnight run, is accumulation where around the 180-day simple moving average. Today we didn't really get any good pops off the 180-day simple moving average, but lately, or like in the last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of good runners where they'll accumulate right around here on the 180-day simple moving average and then run, kind of like CPIX, where it had that really good support zone come in here and then it just ran here 40%. But unfortunately, we didn't really have a lot of great open plays today, and it was a spotty play at best. And if anyone does want to copy, let me just quickly share this so you guys can see edit studies. So we have the simple moving average, we got VWAP, and then we got the moving average exponential. With the simple moving average, all I did here was do width 2, so it's a little bit more substantial, and then compared to the exponential, which is just 1 width, and then the VWAP here, I went ahead and removed the upper and lower bands where you can see the plotting just by unselecting those, because otherwise there's 2 additional lines on these charts and that's just a total overkill. All right, so let me move this out of the way and let's talk about the recap for today. And a little bit of a focus here, like as a day trader, I don't use stops. I know, stops are a big topic for traders and investors, but me personally, my trading strategy, I never use stops because oftentimes the tickers we trade, they're just too fast. They'll sometimes even be flushes, like a 10% flush, and then we have a move back higher. So for me, I always get stopped out, unfortunately, with stops, and I just almost never use them for the best. And trust me, it's helped me tremendously not using stops. Today, it's been so long since I used a stop, and I was like, you know what, I should use a stop today because I was accumulating a swing position on FWBI. And one of my last trades on the day is the stop is the reason I'm so red. Price came down, executed my stop for a split second, and then bounced back up and did the move I wanted it to do. And that's a big reason I'm super red today. I was actually only down like $700 on FWBI. If I just traded like I always trade, I would have held a little bit longer and sold on a retest if it failed. That's always what I do. But this one, flushed down quickly, got me out, and then did the retest that I was looking for. So we'll start with FWBI, and that last trade is where the stop really got me. So keep an eye out for that one. It's kind of funny, but also just so painful. It is so painful. Oh, it's disgusting. And then we'll go ahead and talk about these other tickers. Really, what I should have done today is pretty much stop trading FWBI, because this ticker, there's always those tickers where you trade and you're not really that good on, and somehow you just can't get on the right side of. And with every trade, you just give back a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And that literally is FWBI in a nutshell, which is kind of annoying because I'm at that point where I should have known to walk away, and oftentimes I do. I always say if I'm red on a ticker, oftentimes I just get more red on that ticker, and so it's better to walk away than start trying to revenge trade it and get back green on that ticker. It's better I trade something else like PPSI that I know, like I'm clearly doing something right on, and get more green on that ticker instead of getting more and more upset on something like FWBI and just digging myself in a deeper hole. So let's go ahead, talk about this one first. Oh man, just looking at this gives me the shivers today. Let's actually start on the daily. It's a pretty nasty ticker on the daily. It's just kind of a downtrending stock. It had a recent split here, 1 to 10, but I wasn't really so focused on a lot of that. I think one of the big things I did kind of notice here that didn't make me super excited was the fact that it's a biotech. I'm never really jumping up and down for a biotech, even if it's like an FDA approval, just because I don't really like how biotechs move, and I feel like they do offerings much more than usual, much more than other stocks in other industries. But I don't know, maybe that's a little bit of a pet peeve because I don't really have any stats to back that up. So just take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so let's go here and look at the 5 minute, and wow, there's so many trades I did on this one that it's super cluttered. So let's go here to where we opened up. All right, so there's a lot of trades. So I'm just gonna kind of give a little bit of an overview of how I ended up trading this one. I actually did all right getting aggressive right here into the breakout and scalping it a little bit, but right here in this pullback, this was really annoying because I had a call that came in. I looked away. I was kind of like, my attention totally shifted, and I had an original limit order that was right in this area, but I removed it when that call came in, and then I came back and the price kept rallying up here a little bit, and then I chased, and then all of a sudden I really was super out of the flow in this area. Again, I don't want to blame anything or anyone for like a mistake, but sometimes when you lose your focus a little bit, you start making a lot of mistakes, and I think that's really what happened with me with the FWBI. Somehow I instantly got FOMO when I missed my entry right here, and then I gave back all my profits that I made on this little front side rally, and then in this area it just kind of continued where I was kind of always late to the party and then giving back profits. Here you can see I was accumulating, looking for that continuation, but we didn't get it. Here I tried like literally a dozen times for that continuation, but none of them worked, which was really frustrating. And then at one point I just kind of gave up in this area because it was on a clear backside. I kept thinking that maybe, because you could see here on the 5 minute, I was thinking maybe it's just an extended bull flag, and I think that's why I tried so much in this area, when in reality what was happening is this was a ranging ticker, and I should have just never been trading any of this anymore. This should have been my last trade right in this area, and yeah, I just made so many mistakes on this ticker. It's pretty brutal, and I had a lot of mistakes where I would close out my position just like right here. This is really, and there's a lot of trades, but right here I actually end up selling at 276, and that was like right here near the perfect low, right before there was like an 8% bounce. So just not really good trading, very sporadic, like really overly focused on the 1 minute, not taking a deep breath, letting the plays kind of come to fruition or not. And that's really where I made a lot of mistakes today. And you can pretty much see my frustration on the chart. I did like some okay trades. Here was a little dip trade selling into this rip, but overall this is just pretty embarrassing. And then after 10 o'clock, when I'm usually done trading, I keep trying to trade here, trying to get those reversals, which never happened. This was a bigger loser right here, which was pretty frustrating. And then comes the big loser, which was so frustrating because I really found a nice bottom here. And if you go to the 5 minute, you can really see this bottom coming in right around the $2 zone. Really nice bottom, and you can see we had a good little pop back above the $2 zone. So that's why I was kind of accumulating in this zone, and then right here I started accumulating it with getting full size in this area. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do like what I probably should do, and that's create a stop. And this thing just flushed down, hit my stop at 194, and then finally does that bounce that I was waiting for all extended hours, or not extended hours. It feels like extended hours because I'm usually never trading this time. So first of all, this is just me over trading, and second of all, I was at my computer and I was setting up my charts and I was doing a few things I usually don't do. So I was just spending way too much screen time today, and I think that was a big mistake that I made today. It is what it is. I wasn't really losing that much more money. I was already down like $1,000 when I stopped the day, so it looks like I lost like another $377. So it's not like the biggest. Well, it's like 37% I kept on losing after I kept trading after 10 o'clock. So yeah, that I guess is bigger than I thought it was for sure. You know, I have many rules for a reason, like don't trade after 10 o'clock, don't use stops, trade the front side only, so don't trade backside, trade with big volume. And I kind of feel like today I just broke a lot of rules. And I think today more than anything, like regardless of the P&L, I'm more disappointed in my trading and not so much that I'm down. You know, we can make this back in one day. We can make the, you know, twice as much in one day. It really, that part doesn't really bother me so much. Red days are part of trading. It's just how I traded today. I just felt like, yeah, a little bit embarrassing somehow, but plus it's the last trading day of the month. So talk about taking a flamethrower to my overall P&L statistics, which we're going to come out hopefully later this week. I want to do a quick little recap of how my trading month went so far. Swing trading was really where it was at for me this month for sure. And just to quickly wrap up, where do I think FWBI is going to go from here? I'm not very optimistic on this ticker. When a ticker does not hold its highs at all and just has a continuous sell-off like this, it's usually a really bad sign. We don't end up seeing these tickers again. There's just way too many sellers in this ticker, and it's still on a really consistent downwards trend. And you know, we weren't even really able to break above any major resistance zones, even though we had high relative volume. So FWBI just kind of feels like a total fail, and I don't really see this ticker coming back tomorrow. It'll probably be something like this where it ends up, you know, in a week or two from now, it's going to be at a new low. So I'm taking this one off my watch list for sure. All right, let's move on to CPIX. This was kind of you know, I only did a few trades on this one, and this was really the lead gapper on the day. Let's quickly go to the daily chart. This one had a really big breakout. I mean, this move overall from that high zone, this was 150% move. It is a pharmaceutical company, which makes me sometimes a little bit antsy. 63 million market cap. What else we got here? Shares, 15 million shares outstanding, so you know, in that nice low range. Has a bunch of catalysts that are coming through, so that's really good. The problem was with this one, all the action was kind of that extended hours. This is really when you could have done some pretty okay trading on it, 60% move on that front side. And then after the market opened, or 7 a.m. when TOS opens pre-market, it was just total chop. So I wasn't trading any of this. This was backside. I wasn't trading any of this. It wasn't until we had a few attempts of VWAP where I got aggressive again. And then in this area, I tried a few trades on it, looking for a move higher, but here I got kind of faked out, and this was really frustrating. If you zoom in on this one, it just, oh, look how painful this is. I ended up closing right here near the perfect low. It went down to 438 or 437, and I sold at 438. This was brutal. And then right away it pops up 4% and then has a continuation up here 20%. And this is just, again, a classic me, because I'm way too focused on the 1 minute, not letting a move come to fruition, which is really stressful. So if I was on the 5 minute, I probably would have been way more relaxed. So this one flushed, kind of found support near the 9 EMA or VWAP. And then if this one really did sell off, let's say down to here, so 4-3, we could have always cut our losses, especially if we got an opportunity for a little bit of a retest there before it ended up dying. Unfortunately, you know, I just get shaken out here at a really bad spot, and then miss this whole entire move to the upside. So yeah, the 5 minute, you can kind of see how much more relaxing the 5 minute looks. And yeah, I should have been way more focused. I do like to have the 1 minute as my main screen, but I'm just not looking enough on the 5 minute. And that's why I started off this video, we're talking about my second screen where I moved everything to a 5 minute, just to give myself, oh wow, actually, you know, on the 1 minute, I want to buy right now, but it looks like the 5 minute is still kind of setting up that bull flag. So let me take a little bit of a step back, wait for a better entry, or maybe if I want to start right away, start accumulating with just a smaller starter size and see how it goes. I could always average up or always average down, but just, you know, let me take a step back. That's really the important part. CPIX, I don't know, this one was a little hectic. On the 5 minute though, it's holding this range really well. So maybe we're going to see some sort of move going into tomorrow. I think CPIX definitely would be worth keeping an eye on. I know I definitely will, but where I would be liking to buy this one is ideally if we go back over the 4-5, maybe in power hour or something like that, maybe in the $5 zone, and then see if we can get a second leg, because technically we have that first leg, now we're pulling back, and I want to see that second leg come up. So that's really what I'd be looking for. I'm not the biggest fan though, the fact that it broke this 180-day simple moving average. Not the biggest fan of that. At first we were trying to hold this area, but then we cracked it, and you can see once we cracked this area, big volume came in and heavy price action to the downside. So this was not so pretty, but maybe if, as long as we hold 4 and then we start trolling back up to the upside, this could be a good re-entry for a possible swing trade. But for me at the moment, it's a no-go. IMGN, I think I only did one really quick trade on this one. Let me quickly go to it. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow this one wasn't super interesting for me. We had a first leg and we've been kind of selling off ever since. Although the first leg wasn't bad, it's 50% rally. Then we pulled back and, it could see a second leg. It is kind of finding support around $6, which doesn't look too bad. Let's actually go to the daily here and look, see if we can find where that $6 zone is really significant. Right around here, you can see there's been a few pivot areas. You can see we had a retest, we had a failed breakout, we had a few more retests. So let's actually go ahead and draw a little line at $6 to keep that in mind. And boom, yeah, you can see it now. So we're really, really trolling on that $6 price level, and maybe we're going to hold there and get some continuation. But I don't know. I tried to trade this one a little bit into a move back over the big resistance here at $7, but I got shaken out with it, unfortunately, right before the move to the upside. And I don't know. That really is the summary of today. Just a lot of frustration or frustrating moves. Now let's talk about the good ticker PPSI. This was the action ticker for me today, PPSI, and it still is. I mean, this ticker is still kicking it. So a lot to talk about, and we've been seeing this ticker again and again pop up, and I'm quite curious to see if we're going to make new highs on this one over 12. Pre-market, we did make $13 high. So the relative volume today was just a little bit low. I would have liked to see this volume more than this one to see a proper breakout and proper hold of the highs. So maybe we're going to have a sell-off again. Maybe pre-market there's going to be a chance to accumulate around $9 or so, and then wait for that move eventually, maybe later on the week or next week. But maybe right now it's a little bit high, especially after this big move off the low. So it's not a trade for me at the moment, but it could be a good multi-day continuation. We've seen this one really hold its highs in general. So I don't think we're not going to be seeing PPSI again, and it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. In terms of how I traded this ticker today, wasn't the most elegant trading at all. And a big part of that is like pre-market was pretty rough, because by the time TOS pre-market opened, we weren't really seeing any good setup. So pre-market TOS opens here at 7 a.m. and then instantly this flushes. It's kind of trending to the downside. So I'm not really looking at this ticker. Eventually we do get a nice pop here, but for some reason I'm not trading PPSI. I think I was trading something else at the time. I think it was FWBI, which was really annoying. That was the one I was just scratching on left and right. So this one pull back here, failed breakout again, pulls back to the 9 EMA and has this nice continuation after that, 17%. So again, this is really where I need to be looking at the 5 minute, really focusing on the 5 minute and looking for good entries and continuation. So let's see what I could have done. This one, big breakout at VWAP. So we have a big 5 minute breakout, and look at this, we're having a 1 minute pullback. This was a red candle for a bit. This would have been a perfect entry, and then I could have sold right into this second pop. Even if I just sold for a break of former highs, it could have been like a 5% move. I could have been averaging into this zone looking for continuation. Eventually we get another big 5 minute breakout and we get another 1 minute pullback. So boom, right away we have two 5 minute breakouts with 1 minute pullbacks, which could have led me to a 5 to 7% profit, and again a 5 to 7% profit. So just like that, I could have been done on the day with two perfect front side moves. Instead, I'm over here trading FWBI and ripping my hair out because it's so frustrating. And yeah, just looking back at it's a real eye opener how bad I traded it again today. It's been like kind of the theme the last 2 months. I don't know why my trading's been so bad. Anyway, this ticker opens and eventually, and I'm like, okay, let me try to finally get aggressive on this one. I do a good little accumulation in this zone and get a nice pop here to the upside, but you could tell the problem. I only did 200 shares. So that's pretty much a fifth of the shares I should have been trading. Luckily, I got another pullback entry here and it ripped up higher. I took some profits on this one but with bigger shares, but this time I missed the big pop to the upside. So that was kind of annoying. I did get a nice little pullback here and then a pop, made some profits there. I did some conservative pullbacks here, just trading on those extended moves. This one got halted, PPSI got halted. I bought on the resumption and then sold right away again. A little bit of a dip trade here and then nice little dip trade here. I don't know, somehow PPSI I was totally in the groove on, and even though this trading looks a little bit rough, sometimes you're just totally in the groove on a ticker, and that's why you want to focus on the tickers that you're green on. So PPSI, I felt like the more I traded it, the more money I made, while the more I traded FWBI, the more money I lost. And whenever you notice that about a certain ticker, the earlier you can say, this ticker's not working for me, let me walk away from it, the better. Trust me, I've been doing this for years, and that's always the case. But it's always easier said than done as well, right? Because that's where the emotions come in. That's where the revenge trading comes in. That's where the FOMO comes in. And sometimes you just get stuck with a certain ticker. But if you can just isolate yourself, just walk away a little bit and be like, this ticker's not for me. Trust me, it always ends up paying off by saving you money, and sometimes making you money, because then you could be focusing on other tickers that are actually working. Let's quickly go back to PPSI, and let me show you guys my last trade on this one. I think it was pretty late in the day. I did one small trade here, and again, like I never trade this late. I was trading around lunchtime, which is like super rare for me to ever do. I guess that's kind of the perk of being in Utah, because I'll be up at like 5 a.m. here, ready to trade that 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time open. And right now it's only noon, even though the market it closes in an hour, which is just crazy. So this trade, again, we found really, really big support on the 5 minute. Let me go back here. You can see this kind of zone finding big support. So I ended up accumulating right down here. Hopefully you guys can see that, which basically translates to this area. And I was waiting for that pop back to the upside, and we got it. And I was able to really, really walk away with a nice win here on PPSI. This was actually one of my best trades of the day. Unfortunately, at this point, I leave the computer. At this point, I'm gone. I'm upstairs at this point, and I did miss this final little rally here, which is kind of upsetting, but at the same time, I don't really know if I would have actually ended up trading any of this. Most likely, I would have been fumbling around, because I'm not a late day trader, and I probably would have had a big disbelief that this would have worked, and I probably would have been thinking there was an offering, and I don't know, I probably would have talked myself out of trading this. So I don't really see this with a regret. I'm just like, oh wow, look, it actually worked. Good to see a ticker actually having some fall through after a miserable open today. I mean, Jesus, everything sold off today. Okay, maybe not everything. ADGI actually had a pretty good move, but I wasn't really watching ADGI because I wasn't really on my gap scanner at first pre-market, and then it popped up really, really quickly here, like 25%, and then it got halted already, resumption, and then it was pretty much over. So this ticker was kind of done before it started, and I missed ADGI, which is, I don't know if it's unfortunate or not. I almost don't even care. Yeah, so that was my trading day. It was a pretty long one. It was a pretty tough one, but I think the good thing that came out of this trading day is the fact that I was able to realize that I'm too tunnel visioned and try to make some adjustments, and that's on the 5 minute charts that I have on my second screen. So I'm kind of happy that I made these adjustments, and hopefully going forward, it'll help me be a little bit more relax and let these setups time to play out instead of just fumbling around on the 1 minute. All right, guys, I know that was a lot we covered in this video, but these red days are really good to take a little bit of extra time to break down, because one thing I like about red days is it makes you reflect extra hard, and then you can sometimes figure out what you're doing right, and more than anything, what you're doing wrong, and see if you can try to change something. I'm always really hesitant to add any new rules really quickly, but just like sometimes a few edits or tweaks to your charts to help push you in the right direction a little bit. And for me, that's staying focused on the 5 minute longer time frames can sometimes make really, really big differences down the road. So maybe this red day just means I'm gonna have even bigger green days in the future. All right, guys, that's all for this day trading recap. I'll see you then first thing Wednesday morning, the 1st of December. Don't forget to drop a like on the way out, subscribe if you're new, and like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.